throughout this presentation, I'm going to try to push some hot buttons to make certain that you guys realize that you acquiescing to this rate setting methodology and not pushing back is reinforcing the state's mindset of, we're just getting more efficient. We're rocking. This smokes. I like this. Let's keep doing it. You know, they turn the rack. One more turn. God, if 3 turns was good, let's go 4. Right? Okay. I'm sorry. I get a little passionate and worked up about this. I'll take a step back and try to be a bit more. Okay. So, we've got our raw-based data sets. We know they have flaws associated with them. We try our best as actuaries to what you'll hear called normalize, adjust them. Ask the actuary, tell me what you do to normalize the data set. Tell me what adjustments that you do. The next step, the adjusted base data set, here's, after all of these adjustments, what the data is going to look like. And you don't do every one of these adjustments every time, but you do a lot of them. And you always need to look to see if you need to do all of these. So, programmatic changes. So think about what happens when you're doing a rate development process. Has anybody been to the hospital in the last year? No one in this room has been to the hospital in the last year. Okay, I do this, have you? Okay, I do this speech fairly regularly. You know, on an annual basis. I've never had somebody say it. So perfect, thank you for saving me. Just tell me what month you went into the hospital.
It was October.
Okay, when did you get the bill? When did you see some bills associated with that?
They were staggered.
Okay.
You know, I saw the last one last month.
Yeah. So the bill may take anywhere from 45 to 180 days to make its way through the system. Okay, so completion factors, incurred but not reported claims. I'm going to explain what an IBNR is, that incredibly intuitive, rolls off your tongue IBNR, right? An IBNR is meant to adjust for the timing lag from when a claim is incurred and when it's actually paid, okay? Because if you think about what happens is, we're going to use base data to set our rates from a base time period, and we're going to project it forward to a contractual time period, right? Well, if we use this time period, and the world is completely changed upside down in the intervening years, is this time period a good proxy for the risk in the future? So not only do I have to adjust for data that I didn't have, I also have to adjust for programmatic changes, things that have happened in the interim that are not indicative of what's going to happen in the future. So when Wisconsin was just like every other state and had budget problems, did Wisconsin reduce reimbursement to providers? I'm assuming it did, right? So if I have data that says the unit price of a particular visit was $100 in my base data, but now it's cut to $75, if I'm projecting that forward, I'm going to project too much money into the future. Same issue if I don't have enough, if they've increased rates. As we look at how populations have changed over time, the downfall in the economy actually brought healthier individuals into Medicaid programs. Did you realize that? You had a higher demographic population from a health status perspective come into the Medicaid program from 2008 until about 2012. Because you had people that previously were privately insured and had a higher health status, had their income drop. And so better risk individuals came into the program. Those are the kinds of things that you need to adjust for. There's no such thing as a perfect data set that you don't have to adjust for, you don't have to normalize. Okay? We're going to go through all these adjustments, and then we're going to get what we think are the base expenditures. Does Wisconsin, see this box down here? Does Wisconsin publish a data book? I'll explain to you what a data book is. It has the rate cells, you'll hear it described as rate cohorts, so nursing facility and non-nursing facility. Categories of service, all of the services within the family care program, and then utilization, unit cost and per member per month expenditures? It does not. Okay? Think about how helpful it would be to have that information, not only for this adjusted base expenditure that you see over here in boxes 2 and 3, but also projected forward. You as providers would know, hey, what are they expecting for the service mix in this particular service and this particular geography? It'd be a management tool. It'd be helpful to know, gee, if, let me go to my table, because I can never get this right. If Western Wisconsin Cares gets capitation rates that say what the service mix is, and I'm the only provider of one of those categories of service, I should know exactly what my expected utilization is, right? If I had that information, it'd be really helpful for me to run my business. Is it proprietary? Is it going to violate any HIPAA standards? No. It's great management information. Ask for a data book to know, and if they say, I can't give you a prospective one, then at least ask for a retrospective one. You adjust all this base data to develop your rates, give it to me. There is some detailed information in the rate certification letter that you all should look at because it has detailed utilization and unit cost information about specific categories of service. That's great intelligence that you need to gather and understand. Okay? Oh, there it is. It has a... We talked about regional differences, right? Sturgeon Bay is different from Prairie du Chien, different from Milwaukee. You want to adjust for those kinds of things. You also want to make certain that you're not double counting. Think about how many ways we talked about geography impacting the 4 different components of risk. You don't want to double count those 4 areas. The other thing that you want to make sure that you're adjusting for is trend. Okay? How am I doing time-wise? 20 after? Okay. All right. Perfect. So, how many of you are familiar with ding-dongs? Okay. I will tell you, I love ding-dongs. I cried when I heard that Hostess went into bankruptcy. Okay. I'm going to use ding-dongs as a way of explaining trend. And you'll understand trend once I explain this. So most people, when they think of trend, they're thinking of price inflation, right? So remember when it was 3 in the morning and you went to 7-Eleven and that box of ding-dongs, that little package, white package, called your name, and it was 99 cents? Okay, and then the next weekend, and it was 3 in the morning and you went in there and it was $1.05. The ding-dongs didn't change any. There were still 2 of them. They weighed the same amount. That's pure price inflation, right? 99 cents to $1.05. But do you remember the next week when you went in at 3 in the morning and you heard the angels singing because there were 3 ding-dongs in the package? Do you remember when they did the bonus? They'd give you that extra ding-dong and they wouldn't change the price? That's a change in the intensity of the service. Right? They're giving you 3 ding-dongs for the price of 2. Nirvana. Right? Okay? And then the next week at 3 in the morning when you showed up, and they still had 2 ding-dongs, but the ding-dongs were heavier. They put more cream in them. It almost made them like Suzy cubes. Okay? That was the bomb. They can change the mix, the intensity, and the volume. That's what trend is meant to get at. Okay? So let's think of how we apply that to a healthcare situation. If the unit cost changes, but nothing else changes, that's price inflation, right? That's just the unit cost going up. But if I start substituting services, so instead of group treatment, I use some individual therapies, that's a change in the mix of services. If we have intensity changes, remember we talked about some services can be billed on a daily rate, but you have to implicitly assume whether that's 4 hours, 6 hours, or 8 hours. If I change from 4 to 6 or 6 to 4, that's a change in the intensity of services. Trend is meant to get at changes in mix, intensity, and volume, right? Just the pure dollar amount.